Hi, Team Garwell. You are flipping in fifth with me, Mrs. G. Today we're going to be talking about Topic 7, Lesson 6, and our learning target is I can divide a decimal by a decimal. You've already learned how to divide if there's a decimal in the dividend, and you've already learned how to divide if there's a decimal in the divisor. So now you're going to learn what to do if there's a decimal in both. Again, it's really important that we all have common vocabulary when we're talking about division. Remember, the quotient is the answer to the division problem. The dividend is the amount that we are dividing, and the divisor is the amount of equal groups we're dividing the dividend into. Here's today's problem of the day starring Garrett. Garrett buys several bottles of Gatorade before his baseball tournament. The total cost is $3.60. If each bottle was $1.20, then how many bottles did he buy? Well, every time we have a story problem, I first tell you to underline the question. And here the question is, how many bottles did he buy? Now we need to put a square around the label, and we know that bottles is going to be our label. The next thing we do is highlight our important information. Looking through this problem, do you see two pieces of information that will help us do the math? I do. The first one is the total cost is $3.60. And the second piece of information we need is that each bottle was $1.20. So if we're going to be taking something, a whole group, and putting it into smaller equal groups, what do we do? Do we add, subtract, multiply, or divide? I hope you said divide because that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to divide $3.60 by $1.20. The first thing we need to do is get rid of the pesky decimal in the divisor. So in order to change this number, 1 and 20 hundredths, to a whole number, we have to leapfrog 2 spots. So whatever we do over here on the divisor, we also have to do to the dividend. So here we're going to move our decimal once and twice. Now, if you remember when we were learning how to divide with just a decimal in the dividend, we learned that all you have to do is put it right on top of the house where it goes. So we'll add our decimal here. And now we can just completely forget about the decimals. So now our problem is 360 divided by 120. Well, we know 120 goes into 3 0 times. It also goes into 36 0 times. But we know that 120 times 3 equals 360. So we'll subtract that amount and end up with 0. So our answer is 3 bottles. Remember, we don't have to include the decimal here because there's nothing after it. So it's just one whole number. I want you to go ahead and try this one now on your own. 48 and 4/10 divided by 2 hundredths. Try to do your very best to leapfrog and find the answer, and then come back and check and see if it's the same as mine. Okay, coming back with the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This one might have been tricky for some of you because when you were leapfrogging, you had to add something. So let's see if you got my answer. 2,420. Did you? Great job. If not, here's how I worked this one. We started off by knowing we had to get the decimal out of the divisor, so we leapfrogged it 1, 2 times. Now we have to do the same thing in the dividend. 1, 2 times, which is great, but there's nothing here that for us to leapfrog over for our second time. So what should we annex? That's right, we need to annex a 0. Then we can just move our decimal straight up, put it in the quotient, and forget about it. So now our new problem is 4,840 divided by 2. Which is 2,420. Do we need to put this decimal point? No, we don't, because there's nothing that comes after it. Good job. Now it's your turn to try. Here are tonight's practice problems. We have 5 of them. Make sure you write them down and do your best to leapfrog if you need to. And then you can stop the video, come back, and check your answers. All right, here are your answers for tonight's practice problems. Go ahead and check them and see if they compare with yours. and we will go over them in class tomorrow. I hope you had a great time. Remember to write the number that you got correct, and also honestly fill out that self-reflection. Could you teach a friend, or are you still confused? Either way, it's okay. I just need to know the truth. See you tomorrow, and I hope you have a great night. Bye-bye.